Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Got another build here, got the Sand Viper on the DT-02 chassis. I won't be doing a box art, got a few things we're going to change on. I'm going to change the wheels and the colour. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Right guys, so here we go. First step is step 2. Putting the front suspension assembly together with the shock tower, the pins, putting the ball joints on. So let's get that done. And there we go, step 2 done. Now on to step 3, which is the front axles. Always put a smear of grease on these BD ones just to stop them rusting up. And there we go boys, there's step 3 done. It says in the book, make sure you build these so this little mark is facing upwards. They're pretty directional though, you can see. So now we're moving on to step 4, which is attaching the front axles. So we'll do that next. There we go, front hubs on. The thing I like about this car, one of the reasons is because it's got tie rods, so you can actually adjust it. Bit of adjustability there. Like I said, I'll be running it on 2S. I've got a 3S system knocking around. Might even try that. But next we'll get moving on to the tie rods. I hate doing tie rods, hate them. But move on to that next. So when you're building up tie rods, just put a smear of grease on the thread. Helps it go together. So there we go guys, tie rods on. Now to get it onto the front bumper. It's quite clever this design. It's got multiple holes, so you can adjust it forward and backwards. That's quite clever. It doesn't show you in the book which holes to actually use, so I think I'll put them on the furthest back. See how we get on with that. Can always adjust it at a later date. It's only 4 screws, so get that in now. There we go, step 4 all finished. It's coming along really quick, this car. I can't imagine it taking me that long. So there's step 4. Now on to step 5, which is building the rear diff. Do that next. There we go, quite a reasonable looking diff. Metal gears in there. Nice job. So diff done. When you're putting it together, just make sure them little pins locate in these little there's 3 of them. Just make sure or the screws won't line up, and just go lightly on the screws. Now into part 6, the counter gear. So step 6, the little MB1 bearing sits down in there, so don't worry if it doesn't come up to the top. It's not meant to, and it just goes on that hollow shaft. And that's part 6 done. Part 7, get it all in the gearbox. And like I was saying before about this bearing recess, it actually goes on there, so that's why it's recessed a bit. Sits in nice. Let's get the diff in, grease it up, get the other half on. And there we go. Very simple gearbox, all greased up. Put the other half on, screw it up. And there you go. Gearbox finished. Now to put the spare gear in and the motor. I'll be putting the 540 standard silver cannon for the moment, but hopefully when get some funding, I'll get the 2S system, see if I can put a 2S lipo in it. So now we're gonna be fitting the 17 tooth pinion, putting the motor in. Job's a good one. Boom, there we go. Now I should just grease it up and put the spare gear cover on. There you go. Rear gearbox done. Simple little thing, easy to put together, nothing really to be aware of. Next, we're attaching the rear lower arms. Easy enough, get that done next. And there we go. Next to get the diff cups in. Put some oil on them, get them in, and then we're on to step 12. Diff cups in. Lovely jubbly. Now to step 12, which is the rear axles. Every time I think I lose a screw, the screw pops up and says, screw you! There we go, step 12, rear axles done. Now we move on to step 13, attaching it all to the car. And there we go guys, step 13 done. Pretty simple, rear gearbox done. Next we're going to move on to the shocks, so I'll get them done in a minute. Pretty easy, good shocks, even though, you know, they're quite cheap and not the most expensive shocks, but I find they work alright. Always good to upgrade them whenever you can, but yeah. So we'll do all the shocks, get that started next. So when you're building up the shocks, just put a dab of grease, dab of oil on the rings, just so they seat better. Put the bottom C-clip on first, just makes it easier. Here we go. Put a drop of oil on the shaft, then put it in the shock body. Shock rod end on. Fill it up with oil. Put the diaphragm in. Screw the top on. There we go. A little bit of bounce back. Let's get the spring on and do the other 3. Bang, 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 bang. Better than friction shocks. There we go guys. 15 all the way through to 18 finished. Front and rear shocks done. Now to move on to step 19, which is attaching the rear shock mount and the shocks. So cool. Get that done next. So there's the first part done. First part of part 19. Now to get it screwed to the gearbox. That way around like that, and jobs are good. Step 19 finished, looking good. Now on to step 20, doing the front. And there we go, 19 and 20 finished. Looking alright that. Now we'll put the battery cover on, step 21. So step 21 done, now we're going to be skipping forward. Done step 26, the tie rods, done the servo saver. Then we'll be putting the electrics in yet. Now to mount the front gearbox, 3 screws, the plate, the top, 4 screws, number 28, be doing that next. So 28, all done. Now on to 29 to fit the rear gearbox. And there you go guys. There's the chassis finished. Decent little kit. Kits have come a long way since I started doing RCs. I mean, this cost what, I think 120, something like that. It's not a bad kit. Happy with that. Next, just to put the tyres on, put the bearings in, and then move on to the body. So the body will be next. Do the wheels and then I'll do the body. And there we go guys, not a bad looking little kit. Quite happy with it. Think it'll be nice on 2S. Yeah, now we'll move on to doing the body. Hopefully it won't take too long. It's going to do it red, so stay tuned for that. Body cut out, quite easy to do. There you go guys, all done. Wing turned out alright. It's got a bit of overspray on it, but you can't really tell. Done the body red, just backed it with white and then backed it with black. Happy with that, just how I wanted it to look. So hopefully with the stickers on, it looks smart. And what's extra great is the stickers are already cut. Nice one, Sam. So there you go guys, I'm made up with that. Look at it, proper, turned out exactly better than how I thought it would. Stickers are pre-cut, can't go wrong with that. There's only one thing that I'm not that keen on, and that is these wheels. So I'm going to do something about that. The car that I wanted this to look like was the Astute, Tamiya Astute. So there you go guys, you gotta admit, that looks pretty sick. It's a pity like beginner's kind of chassis. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like 2S and even 3S, but yeah, proper turned out smart. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe, comment down below, leave us a like, and see you on the next one. Cheers.